Hello friends, my name is Mohammed Hasib, and you are watching Hasi TV English. That is, this mother used to regularly help the Indian soldiers during the War of 1965, and that is why even today, the soldiers of the Indian Army are also the priests of this temple and its Karta Darta. These temples are still under the BSF or Indian Army. And sir, not only that, but listen now. After this great humiliation, this great thinker went into a life of great anonymity. Ibn Sina, or Abhi Sena, is a famous doctor and philosopher of Islam who was a resident of Iran, who is considered one of the most important thinkers and writers of the Golden Age of Islam during the reign of Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Today, medicine is called medicine after the name of Ibn Sina. He is known as Sina in the Western world, while his title was Sheikh al-Rais. He was such a great personality that he wrote about 450 books, out of which only 240 have been published. Among them, 150 books on philosophy and 40 books on medicine are included. The vizier of the Iranian city of Hamdan had appointed Sina as his minister, but he was killed by nationalists and religious fundamentalists who were unwilling to think beyond the ideals of the time, and because of the enmity between him and the Caliph Ibn Sina. He had to leave here and go somewhere in the wilderness. He kept stumbling across Darbadar because his own people became the enemies of his life. They were called ungodly, and a fatwa was issued to kill them, saying that they are infidels and polytheists. He also wrote the most famous book of medicine, Al-Qunun fi Tab, in his soul, and spent the rest of his life in the city of Hamdan. Al-Razi was also a very intelligent doctor, like Bu Ali Yassina, and for the first time in history, he clarified the difference between measles and smallpox, introduced the method of extracting liquid from objects, also introduced ethics within the medical field. But his modern ideas were too difficult for the closed-minded people of the time to accept, and it is said that the vizier of Bukhara was so enraged by the words written in Al-Razi's book that he ordered his book to be copied by him. Hit the head until either the book or the person's head explodes. And that was exactly what was done, and after that, Al-Razi was blinded forever due to this suffering and died in that condition. Ibn Khaldun, the founder of the knowledge of history. Ibn Khaldun had mastered Quran, Hadith, jurisprudence, philosophy, literature, and history at a young age. He got a lot of fame and knowledge and grace. The king of Talisman respected him a lot and appointed him as his scribe. Then for some reason he got so angry with him that he put him in prison. After 4 years, when the king died, Ibn Khaldun had to be released from there. That is, arrived in a province of present Spain. No one knows their fate after that. Until the 19th century, Muslims were not even aware of his name. But when the people of the West mentioned his deeds, and his deeds came before the world, from which it is quite clear that they were not only given at that time, but as regular enmity, an attempt was made to erase their name from history, which was not possible. After the invasion of Baghdad by the Mongols, the way the Muslims suffered intellectually, they could not come out of the darkness of ignorance again. The Mughal emperors also had no attachment to knowledge, wisdom, and science. These people themselves were ignorant and kept their people ignorant as well. On the contrary, these people added new innovations to the religion and spoiled the religion. They fell into luxury and worldliness. While Cambridge University was established in Europe before the invasion of Baghdad by the Mongols in 1258, while Oxford University was established in 1996 and Harvard University in 1626. The Mughal emperors were enjoying themselves, building extravagant buildings and palaces. And at that time, 800 to 900 years ago, these universities were producing scientists, while within the same period, 800 to 900 years ago, Urs was built on the land of India. We were going, let's leave India. In today's time, look at the education in the Arab countries. Why couldn't a Harvard or Oxford University be made Muslim even within 900 years? Don't these people have the capital? We know. It is not even the case because these Arab princes have so much wealth that if they send one of their watches or even one of their gold cars, a whole university or college can be built with it. But we see that did not happen, and this is what has kept us far behind in science and technology. Today, we Muslims consider the destruction of Israel and America and praying for them as our religious duty, unfortunately, not to gain knowledge. Why, until today, we have not been able to replace their education? Why do we always have to boycott their products? Why don't we market our products to them, without whom they cannot live? The simple answer is that preferences. Acquiring knowledge is not included in our preferences or our priorities, because knowledge brings people out of the darkness and gives them the light of consciousness, and that person can never be a slave. That is why throughout history, rulers have always tried to keep their people, deprive them of their rights, so that they can never gain consciousness, so that they are forever slaves of this state, or kings from the Mughals. The earlier kings. This is what the Mughals did to an extent, and after them, this series continues exactly the same. And if this series continues in the same way, then in the future, the Muslims will be in the field of science and technology. Anyone, there is no future, because God never changes the condition of a nation that does not have the idea to change its condition by itself and does not make an effort to do so. May God give us the grace to understand and do good deeds, which God increased. Because of this lie, they will suffer the most severe punishment on the day of resurrection. Let's take another example. It is a very common ritual among Hindus to pass themselves under an idol to get a blessing or a blessing. This is a temple located in the Indian state of Gujarat, where a person is trapped inside this narrow space while passing under the statue of a small elephant. And now this person is not calling to this god, but to the humans around for his help. Although just a short time ago this man was passing under this statue, that this god would help him well in the years to come because of this ritual, and his difficulties would be removed. Ignorance I show you at this court inside Sihon city of Sindh, province of Pakistan, where people are passing themselves through the hole of this dead tree to get blessings, because it is related to Babaji and not to anyone. They have faith. They don't believe. Our faith is ours. For example, this miracle happened inside this temple, or the god of this temple did this feat, so all the wishes of every person who goes here are fulfilled. For example, a temple of mice, where Hindu people consider the false food of these mice not only sacred and blessed, but also consider them as pets of the Lord of the temple. Here is a snake temple, where snakes receive offerings from humans in the form of milk. I'm going to show you exactly the same ignorance in the court of a brown man in the Indian province of Hyderabad, where people pour milk to snakes for blessings, and in return, they come to the court to ask for their wishes. These snakes return after drinking the milk. They go away. What is this made of? Bilal, brother, it's good. In the same way, picking up a big stone and praying in one's heart that it will be fulfilled is a common ignorance among Hindus, which you will find among grave worshippers today, although both Sanatan Dharma and Islam. If we look at the basic teachings, there is a clear mention of one God, one Allah, one God who has no partner. He is alone. He should be pleased by making idols and offering offerings to him. Imagine for a moment that the God who created this magnificent universe, he created such a complicated man that today's modern science cannot even understand his functions. The way this body works is still being researched. He is God, the God who sent more than 100,000 prophets to their own nations to desist from polytheism. Can that God demand from his servants to dance and hang upside down and change their sex or make them partners and perform such stunts and command his worship? In the end, where did the answer come from? It is from the minds of the people themselves. Syed Abdullah Shah Ghazi. Syed Abdullah Shah Ghazi. If they get angry, then we will come. God willing. Idolatry never starts all at once, and certainly the teachings of Dharma are also the intoxicated teachings revealed to a prophet. And whenever a prophet dies, the devil always tries to make it soon. Take these teachings out of the minds of this prophet. He misled the nation of Musa, peace be upon him, through the Samaritan within 40 days only. There are 3 stages of this idolatry. In the first stage, the pictures of a deceased saint or prophet or his memorials are made. which can be in the form of a building or in the form of a statue. In the second phase, new attributes are added to this entity. Even his status is increased from the prophets. And in the last stage, this person is made a partner of God. The grave worshippers of the era are currently in the second stage because they have raised the status of their elders to be equal to God by increasing the status of their elders even more than the prophets. All that remains is to make them partners with God. And idolatry in Arabia also started with the idols of good people, and the same thing is happening in today's era. Listen carefully to what God says to the Muslims in Surah Maryam. And these people have made others beloved besides God, so that they may become a source of honor for them. No way. Rather, those gods will refuse to worship them and will become their enemies on the day of resurrection. That is, those great personalities will say to their believers on the day of resurrection, "Did we tell you to worship our God, or make us partners with him instead of God? We have nothing to do with you. And finally, with this advice that we advise the disbelievers against polytheism and idolatry, and do the same thing ourselves. Even if they call themselves Muslims, the only difference between these infidels and us is hypocrisy. They say that if you do not worship an idol, then you are a disbeliever. You are a son of God, then you are a disbeliever. Bow down to the fire, prostrate yourself to the sea, then you are a disbeliever. Believe in the stars, you are a disbeliever. But the paths are wide for believers. Worship with passion. What you want, do what you want to the Prophet. God, do what you want. Show the rank of the Imams to the Prophet. Go to the martyrs and pray for them. Make vows day and night at the shrines. Let there be no disturbance in Tawheed, nor will Islam be corrupted, nor will faith be lost. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.